Hello and happy Monday. So this Monday, instead of taking a question that's coming from one of you, I thought we would explore a question that I have. So a funny thing happened to me on Sunday. I was spending the day with my father-in-law, the morning actually, and so we made a couple of stops and some interesting things happened on those stops. And then the night before I had an experience what made me think, something's going on that I need to discuss. And what that is AI kiosks. So imagine it's Sunday morning, you're on your way to a train show, which is where I was headed with my father-in-law. And we stopped to get a quick bite to eat because it was early in the morning and neither one of us has had breakfast. So we go through a basic fast food drive-through in which the drive-through is not being manned by humans. It's an actual AI taking our order. It was a little bit disconcerting at the beginning because it was sort of like, those standard welcome, are you going to use your app kind of thing? And no, we don't have an app. And then it wasn't a human being, it was an AI that continued the conversation and logged on the screen what we were having. It was a bit confusing and it was very difficult to customize the order. So, because I just wanted a cup of coffee with no sugar, those kind of things. Well, when we got to the front to pay, it was a human, but the human didn't interact with us. The human just took the order that the AI gave, and the order was wrong. And so we had to go, nope, that's not what we ordered. They fixed it. But there was no like, hey, what did you think of our AI tool? Was it easy? Like no survey moment from them and no real greeting from them. Okay, so that was experience one. Experience two was later on. I ran into a Dunkin' Donuts after the show was the afternoon, and I just needed a quick pick-me-up of sugar, so to speak. And I walk into this Dunkin' Donuts, and there's this poor man that's standing there that's yelling out, hello, hello, is anybody here? There's a long queue at the drive-through, which is why I ran in. And so there's obviously someone there working the drive-through, but there's no one helping this guy. When someone finally came out to help them, I had already kind of put my order in through the kiosk that was standing there, that basically with a big sign that says use kiosk. So I used the kiosk, but this poor guy didn't realize that. So he's just calling out for help. If you can imagine the scene. Well, when she finally acknowledges him, helps him, comes over to me, helps me, I say, well, this is what I'm ordering, which was really a nice chai latte. She then proceeded to plug it in when I had already paid for it. And I'm saying to her, no, I did it through the kiosk. I've already paid for it. What kind of milk do you want? No, I did it through the kiosk. I've already paid for it. I'm just waiting for the latte. It's a little confusing, right? And here's the thing, it got me thinking, what is going on? One, with customer service, and two, why is AI involved in every aspect, in things that really should be more human focused? So I thought I'm going to do some research, which is what I did last night. So while you guys were probably sleeping, I was up researching. Here's what I discovered by the numbers. All right. What do the numbers show? Well, according to the numbers between 21 and 23, research has shown that there are over 350,000 installations worldwide of self-service kiosks. That's a jump in terms of what's been going on in the world. By 2026, they expect that number to double. That's a little frightening. So chains like McDonald's, Taco Bell, Burger King, KFC, Shake Shack are aggressively trying to push these kiosks. Some of them are saying that all their locations will eventually have these kiosks. Restaurants with kiosks say that they get 10 to 30% higher spending per order when customers use the kiosk. Okay. Kiosks are helping with the labor shortage, especially because it's difficult to find workers. This is according to a CSR magazine. All right. And then some restaurants want to fully adapt the kiosk so they can reduce their labor costs. So it's nothing about finding labor, it's more about they want to reduce that labor cost. All right. So what does this all mean? Well, what's interesting is that they originally, when I started to research it, there were things like this improves customer service. People like the fact that it's automated. It's easier for people to get things done. People are not really interested in talking to people. No, 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 no. That's very surface research. Bottom line, what the research has actually found is that one, the quality of customer service can improve, but hasn't improved. Yes, the orders are more accurate when you're dealing with AI versus humans because there's human error. The problem is that people feel uncomfortable not being able to speak to a human being to ensure that things are going smoothly. Speed, consistency, and capabilities are increased. So that's a positive for the AI in terms of customer service. Research has shown that the kiosks reduce time and a lot of waste. It increases the volume of people coming through it. There's scalability and reliability. There's this sense of freedom because you are now controlling your own order. However, what we have found is that the trade-off to all of this is a huge loss of the human touch, of empathy, and of the nuances that machines still can't duplicate that humans have. In terms of liability, it's very difficult to hold the machines liable. It's a lot easier to hold humans liable. There's a lack of fallback, follow through. There's not an easy way to escalate issues when issues come up. There's a difficulty to truly customize orders if you're in the food industry. So for example, if you don't like mayo, but you want mustard, it's very difficult to get the machines to understand that. They get that wrong pretty much consistently. Or they don't give that option because that option wasn't thought through when the design occurred to be able to allow people to customize in a way that humans can easily customize. And then the hidden cost, while we think there's this functionality, the hidden cost is that we're not interacting with people. So our level of trust for the people that are putting together our meals really is reduced because we haven't heard a voice that says to us, I got your order right, or even I got your order wrong. All right. One other quick thing that the research tells us, and this is sort of the good, the bad, the ugly. People do perceive on the face of it that a lot of this stuff is useful, but once they've interacted with it, they actually do feel that it's useless. And there's a bigger frustration when they see someone behind a counter, but they're stuck at a kiosk and they can't actually speak to someone behind the counter. A great example was my father-in-law was, because we were discussing this, because again, this was crazy, told me that he'd gone to a Taco Bell, and when he went up to the counter to order, you got to think someone in their 80s trying to order, and then all of a sudden the young lady said, I can't take your order, you have to use the kiosk. You're a human standing right there, you could take my order, I don't want to use the kiosk. Well, you can't eat at the restaurant if you don't use the kiosk. So he left because this was just like a, he was just kind of like, oh, I just feel like Taco Bell. Let's not judge. Okay, so that's an important point. And granted, this is one person's experience, but what I will say to you, when we think about the quality and how we build a culture of really helping customers and helping employees, there are a lot of benefits to being able to do a self-service, right? We think about all the grocery stores we go to where now we can do the self-service. but we can't find a person to help us. And the problem becomes on those little nuanced, simple things that can create such a level of frustration for customers. Like, I just need a price check and or have a coupon, or as simple as, well, the price says this, but the coupon says this, and being able to talk to a human to reconcile that. That's what we talk about when we say those little nuances. But more importantly, that person that greets you when you come into the store, that person doesn't exist anymore. That feeling that you're interacting with another human being and that it hasn't turned into the Terminator experience. I know that was an extreme leap, but it could happen. The point is that when we think about the quality of service that we want to give customers, whether we are in a service industry, whether we have a physical product that we're providing a customer, yes, we want to use technology. Of course, we don't want to be in a situation where we're looking at technology as, oh, I'm not really interested in being part of that. We want to be part of the technology. But as you're adding technology to your companies, you cannot forget that technology is interacting with humans. And what's the human experience? What is the experience for your customer interacting with this technology? And currently, this technology cannot provide a human experience. So how do I make sure that my technology isn't taking away from the human experience that people need to connect with your brand, to connect with your service, to connect with your product? Because the less people connect with your brand, connect with your service, connect with your product, they will go to someone else because it doesn't matter. You've just made your product sort of obsolete in the sense of, I could use your product or I could use product B or C or D because it doesn't matter. And as people are interested in technology and excited about the technology, what will set your brand apart is the human experience. So I would say, what do you think about technology in service and the kiosk and AI automation? What's your experience around this? I'd love to hear, love for you to put comments in there because I'm thinking, it's not been a great experience. We can do better. And how we do better is by making sure that our employees understand the importance of the human connection to their customers, to each other, and to the brand. All right, so that's my question for the day, which I'm turning the tables. Usually I'm answering your question, but my question is, do you feel like you're losing the quality of the customer experience by having AI automation in service industries? Love to hear from you. All right, see you next Monday, where I guess I'll have to answer the question next Monday.